this is a clip that's going to be about miracles at work in a nutshell. And when you read the Bible, it describes a God who cares so much about practical stuff, which is just as well when we're talking about how God and how Christianity is relevant in our jobs, because obviously our jobs involve a lot of practical and technical and all sorts of tasks. So I'd say that what I'm learning more and more is that God doesn't just care about the more sort of spiritual things at work, like how much you talk to Him while you're at work, or the values you bring to your job, or the relationships you have with colleagues and people you meet. They're all extremely important. But in addition to that, another thing that I'm learning myself is that God wants us to pray for the actual job itself, not just for our kind of spiritual things while we're at work, but the actual job at hand. I mean, remember, this is a God who will make sure anyone that's hungry is fed. It's meeting like practical needs. And I'll just give you two quick examples of what I mean, because I'm learning this for myself, and I'm sort of realising more and more that I don't pray for practical things, and that I should. And I'm starting to see the results of what happens when I do, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is a whole new way of being and praying at work that I just haven't been doing. So I'll just share with you what I've been noticing. So two little examples. The other day, my manager, she couldn't find something really important that she'd put down, or I expected it got removed from her desk actually and put somewhere else, and she needed it for a deadline, and she was looking around the office and couldn't find it, and was starting to panic that she's not going to find it in time for this deadline. And the thought came to me that I should pray that she'd find it. Just a little thought. So I thought, well, while I'm sat at my computer, I will. So I just prayed that she'd find it, and about a minute later, she did. And you might say that that's just a coincidence, but that's the thing with Christianity and faith. Who is it? Somebody famous said that coincidences happen so much that it probably is God, or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact quote now, but yeah, you might argue that she's going to find it anyway, or you might believe that was an answer to that prayer. Another a bit more striking example was the other week. We had I work in supported accommodation, and we have a resident from a different country who's all the different kinds of benefits that you can get if you're not working to have enough money to pay for food. They'd all been blocked off for him, which is extremely unusual, and this had been going on for 13 weeks. That he'd had to rely on food parcels, and we couldn't get him any money, and it was just getting ridiculous. Everyone we phoned, well, especially my colleague, everyone he phoned was really unhelpful or really confusing. We were just getting sent round in circles. This poor resident has just been left with no money for 13 weeks. And they were in the office together trying to phone up benefits people yet again for probably about the 30th time, even more. And the thought came to me that I should pray for the situation. Again, it is something that I don't naturally think to do. So I went into the side room, and I was pretending to look through some paperwork, and I actually sat down and I prayed for the situation just for 2 or 3 minutes. And I was praying that the conversation they were having on the phone at the time would finally resolve the situation, that he would finally speak to someone on the phone that finally got these benefits sorted out again, so this guy could have some money for food. But I came out of this side room, and the conversation hadn't worked like all the others, and we were still in this complete dead end. But then over the next couple of hours in the late afternoon, my colleague said that an idea suddenly hit him of something that he could that he'd just been overlooking, that was an option of he could sort of drop some charges somewhere, and maybe that would open up doors to get benefits again. And he said, oh, it was there all the time, and just I didn't see it, and I've suddenly seen it this last hour or so. So he phoned up the benefits people to put his new kind of idea of what to do across, and it seemed to work, and it seemed to be a doorway that could get this resident benefits again. And also, I heard him say to the person that he was speaking to on the phone, out of all these phone calls I've been making over the last 13 weeks, you've been the most pleasant and the most helpful. And he put the phone down and he was telling me what a nice person it was, and far more helpful than anyone else he'd spoken to over these last, whatever it's been, like 3 months. So again, you might call that coincidence, or you might call that another instance of a little miracle at work. And I think God is far more practical minded than we sometimes remember or acknowledge. And I think miracles happen around us far more than we often notice. And yeah, I just wanted to share what I'm kind of learning of just how much God cares about the practical things of the job itself, and how much we can invite God into those things and actually ask for things and get these kinds of stories that I've just described to you now.